Feeling overwhelmed after inheriting an IRA? Well, you're not alone because the rules are confusing and the risks are real. And to make things even trickier, the rules have changed a lot in the past couple of years in ways that catch many people off guard. So in this video, I'll walk you through the process, clear up the confusion, and show you how to handle your inherited IRA with total confidence and without the costly mistakes. Now, if you're new here, I'm Jonathan Rankin, the founder and CEO of Theorem Wealth Management, and for nearly 2 decades, I've helped real people, not just case studies, navigate the tricky rules around inheriting an IRA. Some come to me after a loved one passes, unsure of where to start, and others, they just want to avoid the costly mistakes and unnecessary taxes. And now, with the rule changes that we've seen from Secure Act and Secure 2.0, the landscape has shifted again. So whether this is brand new to you or you've heard this advice from years ago that may now be outdated, this video is here to help you take the next steps with clarity and confidence. So the Secure Act and the follow-up Secure 2.0 Act change how beneficiaries must withdraw money from these inherited IRAs. Because before, some beneficiaries could stretch withdrawals over their entire lifetime, keeping taxes low after years. But now, most non-spouse beneficiaries have to empty the account within 10 years of inheriting it, unless you qualify for a special exemption. So if you're relying on old advice or haven't checked the latest rules, it's time for an update, and let's see exactly how these rules affect you in 2025. Now, once you've avoided the most common mistakes, the next step is to understand the deadlines and rules for taking the money out of your inherited IRA, because these rules are strict and deadlines matter, and they can be different depending on your relationship to the person who passed away and the kind of IRA that you've inherited. See, the first thing you need to know is you need to know your beneficiary type, because there are 3 main categories of beneficiaries and each has different rules. So there's spousal beneficiaries, there's eligible designated beneficiaries, there's non-eligible designated beneficiaries that are often called non-spouse beneficiaries. Now let me break down what each group means for withdrawals, starting with spouse beneficiaries. So as a spouse, you have the most flexibility because you can treat the IRA as your own by rolling it into your own IRA. This allows you to delay required minimum distributions until you turn 73. Now, you can remain a beneficiary, leaving the IRA in the deceased name, and take your RMDs based on either your age or your spouse's, whichever is most favorable. In some cases, for estate or tax reasons, you might choose to disclaim the inheritance and let it pass to another beneficiary. For example, if your spouse passes away at age 70 and you're 62, you could roll the IRA into your own and not take any RMDs until you reach 73. Or if you need some income now, you could leave it in as an inherited IRA and start taking withdrawals based on your life expectancy. Now, if you're not a spouse, but you do fall into a specific category, then you might have even more flexibility options available. So eligible designated beneficiaries include minor children of the account owner, individuals who are chronically disabled or chronically ill, and individuals that are not more than 10 years younger than the decedent. So if you qualify as an eligible designated beneficiary, then you can stretch distributions over the course of your own life expectancy, taking smaller amounts each year, and it's a powerful way to manage taxes over time. But there's one key exception to know. For minors, once the child turns 21, then the 10-year rule kicks in and the account must be emptied within 10 years after their 21st birthday. For example, if a parent leaves an IRA to a 12-year-old child, then the child would only need to take small distributions based on their life expectancy until 21, and then after that, the remaining balance must be distributed by age 31. Now, for most non-spouse adult beneficiaries, the 10-year rule means that you must withdraw all of the assets from the inherited IRA by December 31st of the 10th year following the original account owner's death. So if the original account owner was already taking RMDs, then you must take annual RMDs for years 1 through 9 and then empty the account by year 10. If they had not started to take RMDs yet, then you don't need to take any annual RMDs, but the account still must be fully distributed by the end of the 10th year. For example, if your aunt passes away at 75 and she was already taking RMDs and you inherit her IRA in 2025, then you take an RMD each year for years 1 through 9, then ensure the account is fully distributed by December 31st of 2035. And another example, if your uncle passes away at age 60 before starting RMDs, and you inherit his IRA in 2025, well, you won't need to take annual RMDs, but you must distribute the full balance by December 31st of 2035. Now that you know what your beneficiary category is and how that affects your withdrawal schedule, let's talk about why these deadlines matter and what happens if you miss them. See, if you miss a required withdrawal deadline, then the penalty can actually be pretty steep, up to 25% of the amount that you were supposed to withdraw. So So for example, let's say that you were required to take $10,000 of a required minimum distribution and you forgot, or you simply didn't know how to take it. Well, you could owe a $2,500 penalty on top of the regular taxes that you're still going to owe on that withdrawal. And here's the kicker. This is one of the most common and completely avoidable mistakes that people make with inheriting an IRA. So here are a few tips to stay compliant and how do you actually stay on track. So the first thing you're going to want to do is mark all of your deadlines on a calendar the moment you inherit the IRA. These aren't dates you can afford to overlook. The second thing you're going to want to do is check the age and the status of the original account owner at the time of their death, because that determines exactly which rules and deadlines apply to you. The next thing you're going to want to do is calculate any required minimum distributions carefully. You can use the IRS table, but it's often smart to have an advisor help, especially because these rules are complex. Also, you want to double check if you qualify as an eligible beneficiary, because if you do, then you have those more flexible options that we went through earlier. And finally, don't delay seeking professional advice, because the rules around inheriting an IRA are evolving and they vary depending on your exact situation. A good advisor can help avoid penalties and make the most of your inheritance. Now, a lot of people think that by inheriting an IRA, you have to take distributions every single year and you can't take out more than that. But the reality is you can take out as much as you want every single year. But one of the things that I've seen a lot of people do that's a big mistake is they take out too much or too little too soon. Because if you rush to cash out the IRA, then you can be hit with a huge tax bill all in 1 year. And on the other hand, if you don't take out enough, especially those required minimum distributions, then you could face penalties. It's important to find that right balance, because by inheriting that IRA and being forced to take distributions, those distributions are going to add to your income. And so depending on what your current income is this year, that's going to just add to it. So if you cash out the entire IRA in 1 year, that's going to be a pretty large tax bill. I've seen people use these strategically in terms of being able to take advantage of how much they have to take out of the inherited IRA and use that to actually max out their 401k at their employer. And so you can't actually do a direct contribution from the inherited IRA to a 401k, but you offset the dollars within your accounting. So just to recap, you now know what inherited IRAs are, how the Secure 2.0 Act changed the rules, and exactly what deadlines and steps you need to take to protect your inheritance. So if you follow this checklist, you'll avoid costly mistakes and keep more of what's rightfully yours. Now, if this video helps, do me a favor, hit that like button and subscribe for more practical retirement videos just like this. And if you need to know where you stand for your retirement or you need help with an inherited IRA, do me a favor, use the link in the description below, because we've got a free retirement quiz that you can take to show you whether or not you're on track to your retirement. It's going to get you a personalized video from a member of our team that's going to walk you through your exact retirement, not some cookie cutter allocation or cookie cutter results. It's going to talk about you and your personal retirement. So use that if you need to know where you stand. And make sure you check out this video coming up next, where I share real tips on how you can make the most out of your 60s in under 3 minutes. We'll see you there.